To rage or not to rage? That is the question we ask ourselves every day. Today, on the show, we have the CEO Jevin and CCO Makissa from Drink Rage to talk about how raging have inspired them to build this brand. Breaking the status quo of how we view and consume coffee, they shared with us some insight on what were the thoughts process like building this brand. Hi, this is Bryler, and welcome back to another episode of Cultivating the Masses. This is a collaboration between Culture Talent and Renegade Radio. So without wasting time, let's get to it. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today we have Makissa and Jevin from Drink Rage Coffee. Welcome, guys, to the studio.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you guys. Right off the bat, I just wanted to ask Rage Coffee about Rage Coffee. How did you guys came about that name?
So I think I can answer this.
Yep.
The idea came about because, number one, I believe that the name itself is something that resonated a lot with me while I was trying to make my career. And I started off as an Uber driver at first, and slowly moved my way along, joining the Uber team full time. And then after that, joining SoCar, and then now launching Rage, right? And the one thing that I realized that really spurred me on throughout the whole journey of basically not giving up was that rage that you have inside of you. Right. People call it drive as well. But I think rage is the one word and the one connotation that sounds negative at first. But if you actually turn it into the positive, that's the fire inside you that's basically burning all the time. Right? And I think every one of us here who are looking to achieve something or have the end goal, that word rage is something that probably resonates the most. And obviously it's a fun, easy name as well to remember.
Yeah.
So that was how actually the initial name Rage came about, and we stuck to it.
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting story behind the name Rage Coffee. Like, it's a pretty easy name to remember, as a matter of fact. Like you mentioned, it's fun and easy, right? I understand that creativity stems from many school of thoughts. How did you guys came about this concept?
With the concept, so I came in to Rage and I did the branding and identity right at the start.
Right.
And the first thing I asked the team when we were speaking about it, I was like, is there any inspiration, any ideas I could roll with? And they said, not really anything, but we like the color pink. And so I was like, say no more. That's it.
Yeah.
And we just really played around with kind of breaking away from coffee shop norms. If you look at loads of like branding in coffee shops, it's very like minimal, very clean. And we just wanted something to like disrupt that whole idea of it, right? So putting a bit of pink on like your social feed, your Instagram, kind of like painting the town pink a little bit. And we just like played off that. And like the designs are quite simple. It's like bold typography with pink and then blue and yellow. And we just really stuck to that identity, and it's worked. And now people can like recognize the pink.
Yeah.
And it's also really, really, it makes me smile just being outside or being on the LRT and seeing businessmen just holding pink cups. Like, that makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, and then it doesn't really goes in line with the name as well. It's like Rage, but it's pink, right? So it does play an important role in that sense as well.
Yeah, exactly. And like here we're raging against the norms. Like literally, we're kind of creating our own rules and playing along with it as we go.
And I think just to add on a bit to what Makissa mentioned, the word rage and the brand behind it, yes, we have nice bright colors and all, but I think it really ties it back to our three main values. So we believe in three values when we came out with the brand, right? It was relationships, revitalizing, and reinvention, right? What do these three mean? So relationships is something that we want to cultivate and want to build through our community. And as you know, like right now, we're scaling throughout Klang Valley for now. We're currently at almost 8 outlets opening soon.
Wow.
And the thing is, we have a lot of community events. So even our app. So we have an app called Drink Rage, obviously. And this app allows you to not only get your coffee delivered to you, but also allows you to pre-order them so you can skip the queues. You no longer have to wait 20 minutes for a cup of coffee, because you can now pre-order and just grab and go, right? For those, especially people who are rushing to work or to even school or classes in the morning. So relationships is something that we feel is something that resonates with a lot of people as well. Simply because you can now come into this space, meet with someone else, chat with a stranger, and you never know when an idea or something would inspire you from that chat, from that conversation. So that's something we're trying to instill. And revitalizing is obviously revitalizing your day through our drinks, right? We come up with drinks that not only are espresso based like coffee. We even do matcha based drinks, which also has caffeine, and many
Right.
people don't know that, right? And we also do other, what we like to call our specialty drinks, where we combine some of these elements and we make into a cool drink, like matcha gula melaka, for example.
Right.
Which in my
Oh,
head
man.
is,
That's
my
my
opinion,
favourite.
is
That sounds
honestly...
very yummy right now.
We call it a less
is-
sinful chendol.
Yeah, it's pretty much a less sinful chendol. And it gives people more options, right? And the last thing, reinvent. And reinvention is not something that we just want you to reinvent yourself. Even with us having the app, we want to reinvent the way other people actually look at their coffee experience, the way they order their coffee, the way they consume their coffee, right? And that's what we set ourselves out there to do. And we think we can, and we believe that we're reinventing the way people do that through our tech that we have, as well as the product offerings that we serve right now.
Wow, that's a lot of insight given right there. Yeah, that's very interesting to look at it that way. Also, I just want to touch a little bit on your Instagram. That your Instagram has a very well put together outlook and feel into it, right? It was very well curated from the colors and from
Thank you.
the photos. It's just mind blowing, and I do feel like that's also one of the reason people engage with your Instagram page,
Yeah.
right? So I want to know, what was the thought process like that you put into it, and how much did the team get involved with it?
So, to be completely honest, I've never done social in my life.
Okay.
Never, ever. Like, this was a brand new journey for me. I literally, before Rage, I stopped my own Instagram and I was like detaching myself from social media.
Why
just
was
to have
that?
a detox, right? Just to breathe a little bit. And then this came along and this became my baby. Like,
All right.
Rage was like, I'm like 24/7 on it for Instagram and Facebook. I still don't use my own personal except to promote Rage. And I find it really fun managing a business account. And I felt that myself personally, I didn't want to have mine. So as I started it, honestly, I've just been learning the whole time, but I'm really inspired by like colors. When we created our brand identity, we just stuck to it. So pink and then yellow and blue, bold typography. And I think the inspiration just comes from like just being as engaging and playful as possible. Like, we love puns, we throw that in, we throw a few jokes in. We kind of want to be different. We kind of want to, brighten someone's feed, make someone laugh, draw them into our community events, kind of tie that all in. And yeah, honestly, and the team get involved a lot. Before we opened our flagship store, that's when we started the Instagram, and we're being kind of mysterious about it. We didn't say that we were a coffee shop, but we just said, obviously something's brewing, something's happening.
Yep.
And that was really exciting. People started speaking about that. They were like, what is this? Like a co-working space or a gym? Like, what's going on? And we had an early campaign called #GotAltMilk, because we're really big on alternative milks. We sell coconut, soy, and oat at our outlets. And the reason for that is obviously for vegans, for people who are plant-based, lactose intolerant. We're giving them options as well. And so with that campaign, we got as many of our team members to take alternative milk mustache photos. And that was a really fun way to introduce our team and to kind of just show that community element and our culture there before we even open shop.
I see.
And again, like on Fridays, we post videos of our baristas doing different challenges and different tricks. We always try to feature people within our community as much as possible.
Right. So going back to that milk mustache, right? I just want to touch a little bit on that because that's very interesting, right? What was like the thought process like? What made you decided to come up with that to go back to the campaign that you're doing? So what was the concept like behind that?
The concept behind it was just to have something a little bit quirky. It was super simple, like just have something quirky, show the team members a little short bio about them, and showing the different alternative milks that we have to offer as well. But that was a really playful thing that we did, and we actually are talking about bringing that back and including people who inspire us as well. So ragers, as we call them, and people who come into the shop, how they bring a new element and benefit our community in some way. So that'll be Got Alt Milk 2.0 coming soon.
Right. You mentioned that the main colors were pink, blue, and yellow, right?
Yeah.
Was there a period of time where you actually experimented with different colors as well? Or was it like when someone suggested these 3 colors and you go like, that's it?
Early days, pink was always the primary. And in my early branding, I played with different palettes, and we were looking at variations. And then one day, I remember showing the boys a logo with just pink, yellow, and blue, and they were like, "That's the one." This is it. And then we just played with that, and it just evolved, and we just stuck to it. It's just a nice color scheme to us, and it's just fun, kind of seeing what else we can do with it.
Okay, so you guys are currently expanding rather rapidly in the co-working spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see you at almost every common ground in KL. What's the idea behind of this?
So I think for us, number one, the start of our journey actually began in a co-working space as well, namely Common Ground. And that's where we actually formed the team and started working out of there before we even started.
We all met there.
Yeah, we literally met there, right? And so the idea behind it is people in co-working spaces generally enjoy their coffee. A lot of them are trying to start something new. They're entrepreneurs. There are smaller offices there. And what better way to get your brand out there and get your product delivered to more people other than to these people who definitely need their caffeine dose daily, right?
Yep.
So we're not only in Common Ground, we're not only working with Common Ground, we work with anyone and everyone. We're quite open in terms of which co-working space we work with.
Right.
Even right now, even our spaces, we see people coming there to work out of there, although we don't brand ourselves as a co-working space.
Right.
But I believe that community element, even from a co-working space, is something that really ties back to our brand. Yeah. So it's in line with what we believe in. And because of that, I think that you will see us popping up a lot more in multiple other co-working spaces that we're in discussions with throughout the next couple of months. Right now, we're still only in Common Ground, but you will see that by end of this year, we'll be in multiple other co-working spaces as well. Right. But we're not only expanding within the co-working space as well.
Okay.
We're right now actually expanded to, we have a kiosk in New Central, for example. Mid Valley is opening next week. We have another one, little truck in Robinson's in Four Seasons, right opposite the food court. So we can cater to people who work in KLCC because we deliver coffee as well, right? So they use our app, they immediately get a coffee delivered to their doorstep in the office. You don't have to worry about stepping out, queuing up anymore. Exactly. So I think that with our expansion, we use the data that we collect a lot. So like, for example, when someone signs up on our app, we know where people need the coffee, right? From the based on where they sign up, we can actually plan our expansions surrounding that.
Right.
So a lot of things of what we do actually goes back to the data.
Yeah.
I would always like to think that we're a tech company first, and we just and we're just using tech to power what we want to do, which is to give people more affordable, but better quality products. Not necessarily just coffee.
Yep. Interesting. Are you looking to expand something apart from coffee?
Right now, we're only doing coffee, matcha, and whatever other specialty drinks that we have, like the matcha gula melaka, for example.
Right.
Or we have like an espresso avocado shake, right?
All right.
So for now, this is still going to be the core business. But eventually, over time, we're actually open to having our app serve as a platform for other cafes out there who want to come on board on our app, get listed on our app, and use our app as a one platform where they could use the data we collect to improve their business, to become more efficient, or even use the logistics that we have to deliver their products as well. For a small fee, but this is probably down the line something that we're already thinking about. Yeah.
Okay. Now that we look into that, right? So you can see currently in Klang Valley specifically, the amount of third wave coffee house has been increasing rapidly as well, right?
Yeah.
So as the person behind Rage Coffee, I just want to know a little bit of your thoughts on that as well.
So third wave is actually a term that I really believe we don't adhere to.
Right.
The couple things that we really believe in is coffee awareness, the awareness of coffee, as well as sustainable sourcing of these coffees is something that really goes back into how we want to reinvent things, right? And I believe that what we do with our coffee, for example, like after they're extracted and used and grinded, we actually partnered up with Mineral to actually reuse these coffee grinds and make it into face wash.
Oh.
So
face scrub.
Face scrub, sorry. So we actually believe in that circular.
Gotta get it right.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference.
Clearly not using
I was
it.
just agreeing, dude.
Well, she will know the difference. I don't. So.
Body, face, and lip scrub.
There you go.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
So honestly, I think we really believe in the circular economy, and so the term third wave is not something that I would adhere ourselves to.
Right. Any thoughts on that?
I agree on all points. I think one way someone described us in early days was new wave, and I thought that was quite cute. As yeah, some of these elements are coming from third wave, but we don't consider ourselves that. We're kind of doing it on our own with the tech, with the circularity involved, with our community involved, and really just pushing that out as much as possible.
All right. From your experience after running Rage Coffee for quite some time, and you're quite well known among the community that you serve as well, as individuals, what's the key element behind the great idea?
Execution. To me personally, an idea will only be an idea unless you execute on it, right? A lot of people, again, goes back to the branding and what we believe in and the key 3 pillars. If you don't rage against the mundane, as we like to call it, and just never settle, you're never going to be able to execute or achieve your dreams, right? People will tell you no. There will be barriers placed in front of you. But if you have an idea and you really want to execute it, you'll never know whether the idea would work or not until you execute, right? Yeah. So I think the key thing behind every good idea is the execution. And obviously, if along the way you find the team that you want to build and you build a great team, then having a good team goes hand in hand with the execution as well. So to be honest, anyone who has a great idea, by all means, go for it, man. Don't let anyone or anything stop you. Just achieve it and don't settle. Yeah.
I would honestly agree on that. I think a team is so important, and we have an amazing team with Rage. Like our head of ops, Jo, she's fascinating. All our baristas work super hard, and that's exactly the culture and the working ethic that we encourage and we have with Rage. So at Rage, like we also call ourselves like a social club, and we tell all our baristas, anyone within the team, you're not just a barista making coffee. Speak to your customers, strike up a conversation, be super open with them. Customer service is so important to us, and we can all do that if we work together as a team and just remind ourselves to work this way. You know what I mean? I think like long gone are the days where like Malaysian service culture has not had the best reputation,
right,
but we're really trying to change the game. And it's super easy when you have a great team.
Yeah, and to be honest, all of this actually I can now safely tell you I think all my customers have now become friends more than just paying customers.
Wow.
Like, because every day they come in, they greet each other. We greet each other. We sit down, we even chat for 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of people coming in and out every day, and they are regulars, right? And we've become more friends on personal basis than we are now just, oh, hi, welcome again.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely.
It's a lot better, even as a consumer myself from time to time. I mean, I've been to a few coffee houses, and some of the staff over there, right? The team actually remembers my name. It makes me want to come there all the time, right?
But when are you going to come to Rage?
I'm going to come there soon, all right? Boys, chill out. Tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll hold you to it.
Yeah, I'll see you there. God damn it. You got me right there. Anyways, yeah, but I think that plays an important role as well. Even as a consumer as well, I feel like that has made such a huge impact to me as a consumer, right? I come in, and when the staff actually knows my name, knows what I want to order as usual and all that, and that really plays a big role, right?
Yeah.
And it's great to hear that you guys cultivate that kind of culture as well. Yeah.
And it's already struck up chances for us to collaborate with some of our customers. Some people are like starting to do events with us, host different workshops, and it's just really nice. And you don't know until you strike up a conversation, right? So that brings, always speak to someone you don't know, speak to a stranger, and you never know, it could turn out to be something good.
Right. So you mentioned something about collaboration with the customers and all that.
Yeah.
Has any of that ever happened before this? Or is it an ongoing thing right now?
So since we've opened our flagship store, customers have come in, they've wanted to rent the space out. We've worked with them to execute some private events, some open events. Next week, so tomorrow we're doing our kombucha cocktail night.
Yeah, kombucha.
Which is going to be really fun. So kombucha cocktails and drinking games. We're co-hosting that with our kombucha suppliers, Cha-Cha.
Right.
Next week, we have a musician, AZ Samad, coming in, and he's doing like a jazz gig. And that started because he came in being a customer. And that was really cool. And he's plant-based, he's vegan, and so am I, myself. And we've made sure the menu caters to plant-based people. And so that's what really struck him when he saw that on social media. and then came in, really enjoyed the menu. We started speaking, and now we're doing a gig with them next week.
Wow.
So, I mean, it just comes from having open, good conversations, and seeing how we can work together.
Yeah. Okay, so from your point of view, what makes a better cafe outlet besides the coffee itself?
The staff, the team.
The people.
Yeah.
The people and the vibe as you enter the place. I think first impressions that matter. And I strongly believe in that. If you walk into a place and you see let's say three staff working there, right? And they're all on their phones or talking to each other, not paying attention to you walking in, not even greeting you, saying a simple hello. I think that automatically will put something in your mind, right?
Yep, definitely.
And that's why, honestly, for us, we do a lot of refresher trainings as well. I cannot instill the importance of this enough, right? And we always make sure that we greet our customers, and even a simple hello, right? Or even if there's a long queue, we've got certain things in place, like speaking to people at the back of the queue, giving, we have people on the floor to do such things just so that you don't feel that no one is attending to you. It's very simple as that, right? So I think other than having a good product, you really need the people to complement the product almost, right? And that goes back to what we were saying all the while, the community, the relationships part.
Right.
It's not just relationships amongst our customers that we're trying to build, but it's also relationships amongst us, the team itself, and the customers walking in, right? And that's what goes back to what Makissa also just said, where we now have that relationship with people who were strangers before and now become friends, and now even want to become partners with us. Yeah, so honestly, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it creates more space for like adventurous stuff, right? So you're not just stuck into doing one thing and one thing only.
Exactly.
We're very dynamic.
And after you build that relationship with someone, you automatically get more comfortable.
Yeah.
And then you get honest feedback as well, right? And to us, we take our feedback very seriously and we act upon all feedback, positive or negative. So we always welcome such things. And after that, we try to improve ourselves. Yeah.
Okay, so we have people in our company who frequently go to your shop, and they mention how the service is top notch.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Going
That's
back to that, So going back to that again, I believe it's Cairo. Shout out Cairo.
Shout out to Cairo.
Yeah, there you go,
Number
Cairo.
one rager.
So how do you guys approach the term community, and how does this area become manageable, knowing that it is only about people, and people?
Like we said, it starts from as soon as they walk into the door, greeting them instantly, striking up a conversation, just getting to know them a little bit more, right? If you see them coming in quite frequently, they turn into regulars, speak to them. Our baristas speak to our customers. I'd be there, Jevin will be there. We always want to find out like what they do, what their background is, and literally find out if we can collaborate.
Right.
And if it's something that we're aligned with, then that will just like naturally happen. But as we have like multiple events and different things, we always push that out to our customers, our regulars as well. I try to get them involved, come to anything that we're doing, and just be part of that community. You know what I mean? See us after hours, grab a drink with us. You know what I mean? It's very open.
Right. And also, I think for us, it's not just people, because actually, like I said, through the Drink Rage app that we have, we also have a communities tab that's solely for the people. Right, this is where you get to know our events that we're having. You can RSVP directly from the app.
Oh wow!
And yeah, like for example, like for tomorrow's event, if you want to come, you can just RSVP directly from the app, and then we'll know you're coming, right?
Yeah.
Where my phone at?
And with that, you'll get 10% off your first kombucha
wow!
cocktail.
Okay, there we go.
Everyone
We
likes a
know where we're heading
discount.
tomorrow.
Hey, we better see everyone there.
Yeah. So I think that's where for us, I would like to say that we're a bit special. I don't think we only build a community element from people walking in the store. We build it from the app itself. Think about it, right? If right now you have the app open when you're with your friends outside and don't know what to do tomorrow, you check out our events, you see something cool, you might like it. A bunch of you can now come and find a place to come and meet other people, right? And that's essentially what I'm trying to do is, in Malaysia, one thing we've come to realize is a lot of people have that social fear of speaking to a stranger. Right,
Yep,
and I've
do.
witnessed this firsthand. I've seen it before, and we're trying to break that stigma where you don't have to be afraid to approach someone.
Yep.
So you just say hello. Oh, hey, you look good today.
Yeah.
Don't be
a
scared.
simple compliment. Yeah, that will.
Don't be afraid. People would actually make someone's day.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
And which is why through our events and stuff, we want people to come meet other people, expand your social circle. Right.
Right.
You never know when you would be able to do something with someone else that you just spoke to again. So yeah, I think for us it's people and app.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got one thing to add to that. So with that, like on our coffee cups, one thing that our USP, so to say,
Right.
is we always write personalized messages or quotes or something that will make someone smile on our coffee cups or our coffee sleeves. And no one is the same. Like all our baristas have their own style. Some do some drawings or some doodles, write something. And that kind of started creating some engagement on social platforms. Which was really cool, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah, that is really cool.
it was
like,
just fun. You know, you don't just get your drink and your name anymore. Just
Yeah.
write something different just for the customer. Obviously nothing bad, right? But like,
yeah.
it's nice seeing people smile through
Yeah.
that as well.
So going back to that app that you mentioned, right? So how did that idea came about?
So the whole idea was not to build, like I said, not to build just a chain of cafes, right? The whole idea was to have a tech-enabled area, right? And the one thing that I focused on back then was coffee. The idea came about, started with coffee, and then from there it built on the idea, and I was like, okay, you know what? We need an app. What do we want the app for? This is what we want it for. We want people to be able to skip the queues. We want the app to be able to allow people to pick a delivery option to their offices. And we want to have announcements, right? Which is the community part. So the app is also enables us to use the data and optimize our operations as well. We now can predict inventory a lot better. We're now able to predict peak hours a lot better. Because your at peak hours, when you allow delivery, may not necessarily be the same as lunchtime and morning breakfast, right? Anyone could want a delivery, maybe it's raining outside and it's 3 p.m. I want to get coffee, but I can't go off my office building. I need it come to me, right? So the app also allows us to, like I said, use data very efficiently and allow us to plan our expansion goals very efficiently as well. So like right now, our expansion plan is to have another about 50 outlets over the next 7-8 months. And I believe that through the app is what's going to help us actually see where the customers are, where we see the demand for it, and then we'll provide the supply.
You know, I have to say it here. You guys sound like the perfect coffee house out there. You know, you make everything sound so. I mean, it's very convenient from a consumer point of view, and also, especially from the community side. You know, it's always a big thing when you feel like you're part of something. I do believe
100%.
as a human, that's just naturally how we are. You know, we operate in a manner where we need to find our place where we belong, right?
Yeah,
And when
exactly.
you give out that kind of vibe, definitely people will naturally just go to that place, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
It's
We hope you naturally come as well.
Yeah. Oh my God, Azrul, I think I need a a new place to station right now. Dude, definitely, man. I mean, definitely we can just drop by and maybe, you know, like you said, think of a collaboration that we can work on, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have this one question. If you never made it as Drink Rage, focusing on coffee, of course, what would you guys have built instead?
Go on, Jevin.
To be honest, I actually don't know what I would be doing if this idea didn't come to mind. I think I would probably still be in the mobility space, trying to build the product that I was building before with SoCar. I'll probably still be there. But this was the one idea that really came to mind. And it was really egging me on because, for example, I can't make a good cup of latte for you because I can't froth milk properly. I can tell you that straight up. Right? So coffee wasn't something that
Totally honest.
Coffee wasn't something that came naturally to me, right? So drinking coffee did, and I could consume a lot of coffee daily, multiple times a day.
Oh my God!
Right? So one thing that I realized was there's just lack of variety. Affordability was also an issue, and another thing is convenience. So tied all this in together, how can I provide good quality coffee at affordable price and the convenience of it getting delivered to you? That's how the idea came about. And if I wasn't doing this, I straight up, I don't know what I would have done. I'll probably just still be in my previous job.
Okay.
Most likely.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's about it.
What about you?
So my background is graphic design.
Right.
I love branding. Like literally what I love doing. But if I wasn't doing Rage, I feel... So I'm also very passionate about the environment and also communities and just being as sustainable as possible. So naturally with Rage, all these things that I really like kind of fell into place here. But yeah, if I wasn't doing Rage, then maybe something towards environmental or social design.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, before we end this episode, for all the listeners out there, where can people find out more about Rage Coffee?
So, obviously, our website, drinkrage.com. You can download our app. It's available on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store. So just search for Drink Rage. You'll see a bright pink icon with the word Rage on it. You won't miss it.
Yeah.
Sign up for the app. You'll get announcements via the app. You'll get the latest events we're hosting. You'll also be able to see the latest locations we're at.
Yeah.
And that will enable you to obviously plan which outlet you would like to go to, whether to grab a coffee or get it delivered to you. Follow us on Instagram. Drink Rage.
Instagram is where you'll get all the colors,
You
the
guys,
aesthetics, all the events, any announcements will be on Instagram and then reflected onto Facebook and everything.
And of course, Facebook, it's Drink Rage MY. You won't miss it. It's all bright pink. Trust me.
All right.
So, and if you would like to come visit the flagship outlets, you would be able to come by Menara UA Bangsa. So that's where our first outlet was. And another outlet that we're opening, like I said, really soon in the next couple of days is in Mid Valley as well. So that's also another place where you could come sit down.
A second cafe space.
Yep. Right. And if you like a punching bag, we've got a punching bag in our outlet as well.
Oh, nice.
Blow some steam.
Yeah.
Come off, blow some steam.
I mean, that goes well with the word rage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Play a game of ping pong.
Yeah.
Yep. So we have that in Bangsa. And in Mid Valley, we also have a little speedball for you to punch. If you ever need to, unleash the rage.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, pissed off with your boss, pissed off with your ex. Just
anyone, just come.
It sounds like the perfect coffee house. All right, thank you so much, guys. It has been such a fruitful session with you guys. Yeah, it's a really eye-opening session. I think a lot of people can gain a lot of value from that if they ever want to. You know.
Hope so.
Yeah, and let's hope everyone just go follow their page right now. It's gonna be very pleasing in the eye.
Everyone needs a little rage.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow right after this. I'm gonna follow right after this, and hopefully I'll have the chance to come over tomorrow and really there for you, with you guys.
And anyone coming through, come say hi to us. We always love a chat.
All right, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you, Makissa and Jevin, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Running a business and having the integrity to serve your customers at best will always lead to a better relationship and even space for collaborations. I hope you gain tons of value from this podcast. This is your host, Bryler, signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.